Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. You know, we have listeners that are very passionate about listening to the show. In fact, we had one call just now and said, can you make sure Teresa tells her number a little bit louder? And it's no problem. And slower. So could you repeat that for me if you don't mind?
Okay, slower and louder. 713-724-8685.
That is the number she gave out at the very end of the last segment. And let me tell you, great individual, great agent. Definitely look her up right there. And speaking of somebody, she is one of our few. We can count on a hand right now. It's like three of them. Our second-time invitee to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show.
A two-timer.
Yeehaw,
She's a two-timer.
I'm a two-timer. Oh, my gosh, you guys.
And you know, the great thing about Teresa Kennedy is she's also up there in the Woodlands.
With
Yes,
Keller
I am.
Williams.
With Keller Williams, that is correct. We make sure we keep everybody together. You know, is that she has a very interesting background. You know, speaking of careers in real estate,
Yes.
her original career was nothing to do with real estate, actually. It was, now I will tell you, there night on the red carpet, her career was to be our model, which was absolutely incredible. But you had a career prior to real estate, and then you got into real estate. Let us know a little bit about that transition of what you did.
I traveled the world as an international model. I've been on covers of magazines. I've done Vogue, Glamour, Elle, dated Rod Stewart. Been in feature films, over 30 commercials, was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I just got casted in another series it's going to be filming here called The Secret of Angelica 5. And that's a lot of fun. I actually have been training I've been training, but they had me do a Navy SEAL warm-up, and let me tell you, I am so incredibly sore because my character, she's a bit of a bad girl. I mean, she has a fight scene with a knife, and then in another series or another episode with a sword. So
wow,
I'm being trained for combat.
This is
You
great.
guys
Which is
better-
all great for negotiation.
I was just going to say that's a great prep for a career in real estate.
Hand-to-hand real estate.
Yeah, so if anybody is a stalker or anything, you better watch out. Don't come to my open houses.
For those-
I'll be in for something.
Wow.
For those showings in the less than desirable neighborhoods.
And you will buy something, and you will buy it quickly.
So
You like this house, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
No, really.
Well, I'll do my Jedi mind trick that I love to do to people. I'll make them buy it. Anyway, so I moved back home after my father passed away because I really realized that life was all about God, family, and friends for me. And so moved back home, had 3 boys. Actually, after my first son, I've always worked. I mean, I moved to Paris when I was 18. Je travaille de Paris pour 2 ans. C'est très joli Paris.
Je ne sais pas.
Je ne sais pas. You
That's
don't
all.
know.
That's all I remember from French class.
Ta gueule. Ta gueule is not
Which
it.
usually
Well,
followed the Joe. How do you say?
all the bad words.
je
That's
ne
what
sais
my
pas.
friends taught me too in Europe. Anyway, so I always worked. I love people. Everyone said you should get into real estate. You should get into real estate. I did. And I love it. I absolutely adore what I do. And when you were saying passion, you've got to be inspired. And
Yes.
for me, it's all about inspiration. And one other reason why I got into it is because the agent actually also represented the seller. So I'd never bought a house before. I'd lived all over the world, and I rented homes or I rented apartments. So, you know, my mom was my eyes. She would view the houses. I was living out in Los Angeles, and my favorite house was her favorite house. So I gave her POA. She signed for me. And this agent would tell her, no, they don't need a home warranty. No, they don't need to do this. Yes, they should pay full price. And my mom's this good old, woman who you could tell her the sky was purple and she'd believe you. And so move in. The first thing that goes out, the panel to the oven, $500 repair. And I'm like, well, shouldn't it be warranted or something? And they said, yeah, but you guys didn't you get
Negotiate.
a residential home? Well, but the agent told my mom we didn't need that.
Wow.
So that was one other thing. You talking about educating?
Right.
I educate my clients. I have a full-on listing packet. I sit down with them. I explain everything. I go over the listing paperwork with them, even if they're not going to work with me because they've said, well, I met another agent. They didn't even tell me half of that. They didn't explain to me what I was signing. And I'm like, my job is to educate you and make sure that you know exactly what you're going to be signing.
I think it's a good
So-
time to say to the listening audience, as we always remind you, work with experts.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes. Anyway, guys.
So how long ago was this that you made that transition?
I moved back in 2003, and I got my license in 2005, and I didn't start in 2006. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I can't explain enough how much I love what I do, and it's a lot of fun. I get to meet a lot of people. Growing up, my mom said that when we were in the car, when we were driving, I would point to people on the sidewalk. There's my best friend. There's my best friend. So I am definitely one of those people.
Well, and you mentioned right there's your best friend, that kind of stuff. I relate to that because one of the things that you do when you're passionate about what you do and you're good about what you do, I mean, I'll go to the H-E-B and I'll find a lot of clients at the H-E-B where I live, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, Kelso, I need to talk to you, or I need to refer somebody over to you. And that's the type of community that I think that we all live in, right?
Yeah, well, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I know that Teresa Sarton as well, we get a lot of referrals because we were raised in our area. So we know a lot of people. And when I go to the grocery store, for example, I know the guys that work the meat deli, that work the, cash register. I'm always talking to everybody. And it's not to get business, but it's because could you imagine working there all day and no one saying hi to you, So it's about being personable. And then they remember what you do and they're like, I know someone who's an agent and they're really nice. And
you said something really interesting right there, which I've always preached this, is never be above anybody out there. There is never somebody out there.
We all put our pants on the same way.
We all put our pants on the same way. And
Jumping
you
off the
never
bed?
know who's going to be a potential client in the future. Yeah, exactly.
I thought I was the only one.
Sorry.
We got her to
you know what? I forgot.
I made her snort.
Hey, you know what? I forgot to thank Michael Board also with Capital Title, and you guys for inviting me back out again. I forgot to do that when I first started talking. Can you tell I like to talk?
Oh, absolutely. That's
Teresa,
what we like, by the way.
Yeah, we have listeners out there who probably are thinking about getting into real estate.
Yeah.
What would you advise somebody brand new?
Well, I would advise them to absolutely give
Go to
Rita
Champion
and
School Real
Christy a
Estate
call,
first.
yes, or visit their website and totally get educated. But know that you have to absolutely love what you do. It does not happen overnight. You really have to work hard. I mean, I go out and I still door knock doors. I mean, it's not something. Yeah, when you work hard, the rewards are great. But it does not happen overnight. You definitely have to be dedicated and very disciplined to get into this industry.
And that's one of the things I see about careers in real estate, and I talk about this often, is that, the average age of the realtor is 57.
Wow.
57 years old. And what I'm seeing is that young people like yourself getting into the business, a lot of them are fearful. Like, nobody wants to get out of college and starve for a year.
Right.
But I don't think that's true, and especially not in this market. I think that if you're purposeful, have a plan, that you can start producing 60, 90 days. Is that what you found?
Well, yeah, but I also think there's a great book that we were actually, Michael and Teresa and I were talking about, that Gary Keller wrote, called The One Thing. With all these products out there, you really have to find what you're great at and do that one thing. Because if you try to do too many different types of marketing, it gets so overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
That you find yourself kind of running up against a wall and you're like, why isn't this working out? Why isn't this working out? So you need to just really think about it and figure out what you do great, educate yourself, and really stick to that one thing. Be disciplined and follow a schedule. You have to follow a schedule.
It's not a light statement when we say, and you've heard it from pretty much everybody that's spoken in one way or another, saying love what you do, be passionate about what you do. Because at the end of the day, running a business, which is real estate, I always want to keep honing on that point, especially with the market as it is and everybody excited about, houses flying off the market, as soon as you put one on the market, oh man, it's going to be easy. I'm just going to jump in and get my license and start blowing through these houses, And the big thing is that you have to love what you do. Why? Because it's hard work. Running a business is hard work.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard.
It takes a tremendous amount of energy. There's too many cruddy businesses out there. There's too many businesses that don't answer the phone. There's too many businesses that don't return phone calls or emails promptly. That's hard work to stay on top of that kind of stuff. And if you don't love what you do, you just simply won't have the energy to do it.
And most people don't realize that most agents, loan officers, agents, appraisers, we're all independent business people.
Yeah.
We operate under a bigger umbrella, right? Yeah. In your case, Keller Williams. But you are your own boss.
I'm my own, yeah. Well, and you know the saying, I have a wish board, like my goal board. My kids are right there, and I'm a girl of faith, and where I want to travel, what I want to do, and I have my affirmations, because sometimes you just get kind of like, ugh. And I look at that and I remind myself why I do what I do.
Oh,
and
yes.
I have a picture, and it says, if you love what you do, then you're not really working. You know, like if you love what you do, it's not work.
It's not work.
It's you know, because we've got this one life, and you want to do what you love and embrace it. And I think when you do, you're blessed, and people see it, and it's infectious.
And and we've spoken about this a lot. We talk about God, family, friends, right? We speak a lot about faith, about a lot of things that we do.
Yeah.
Teresa and I personally are doing some events this year to really give back to the community,
Yep.
because part of our faith is also making sure we give back.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the big things I think it's done for me over the years is what we've been able to do, not only to generate activity, but also be able to give back to the community. And it's very important.
Can I give a shout out to Maria Dorman with
No.
Princeton? Shout out to Maria Dorman.
Shout out.
With Princeton Classic. She's listening to us right now. She just Facebooked me saying, "Hey, I'm listening to you ladies. Awesome."
Well, Legend's one of our sponsors of a lot of our events. I think they have sponsored every event we've done.
Right.
Legend and Princeton Homes.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do quite a bit of stuff with Legend.
And
I know Mark very well over there, one of the VP of sales. So great company, and you can always give a shout out, Teresa. You know that.
Absolutely.
yeah.
We just bill you.
And if you guys are in the Woodlands, please give me a call. Teresa Kennedy, Keller Williams, 281-799-3927, or you can go to kennedyteam.net. I got the .net because the .com was a brain surgeon. That's not me. That is not me, let me tell you.
You could be a brain surgeon. It just takes education and time.
Well, they have a new .realtor through the NAR. So
That's what I heard.
You need
That's
to
what I heard.
tie
That
that
would be a
up.
great. You should just make that your website. It should be the brain surgeon of real estate.
Oh, I love it.
Hey,
I like
you know
that.
what, Joe?
Hashtag.
There we
Like
go.
I said last time, you're not just handsome for you're more than just handsome.
You're
my friend.
more than looks.
Yeah,
Hashtag marketing.
Exactly. Hashtag Kennedy Team. That is actually our hashtag.
You see?
Hashtag Kennedy Team. Facebook.
We should try a show one day, just imitating after Jimmy Fallon, doing everything
The hashtag, yeah.
Oh, we
That'd be
should do a
awesome.
video.
We have entirely too much fun up here.
Oh,
A
it's
video
way
where
too
we're
much fun.
lip-syncing.
We'll do the lip sync one later.
Because lip syncing is great for radio.
But we are coming up against the break right now. Exactly. Everyone, we have one segment left. Stay
now she's
tuned.
punching me, Chris.
Exactly, right? I see it over there.
Yeah, you better be glad I don't have a knife in my hand.
Oh,
No,
my
I'm
gosh,
kidding.
yes.
Okay, no, that's so
Hey, everybody, we're coming up against the break right now, but stay tuned. We're having too much fun here. We'll be right back.
Full of cinders and a mouse, a hole and a trap. I don't